welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man that just drank some Limitless juice for this episode. It's Jay Cluitt.
I'm going on a goddamn choice swim.
So Jay, we've been talking about Deep Blue Sea and Deep Blue Sea adjacent films for years now, and we had our Soggy Saga. It's like we've been chatting about wet movies for about 5 years now.
Yeah,
more than that.
Yeah, it's been a good time,
and it's wonderful because it's my favorite genre of film.
We got to thank Swim Fan.
Yeah.
For bringing us together for like, we'll do an episode on Swim Fan. Like, okay, sure. I've never seen or heard of this film before, but okay.
And then that started off our saga of Deep Blue Sea and Deep Blue Sea adjacent films. And this month I've been having like MFF All-Stars explain horror franchises quickly. And I'm just going to continue doing it because I enjoy it. But yeah, so I was like, we got to do Deep Blue Sea, and I got to bring in Jay because he and I have talked about Deep Blue Sea for hundreds of hours, and I don't think you and I have probably watched it the most out of anybody on the planet in the last couple of years.
I don't know if you can go on Letterboxd and kind of just see who was logged a film the most, but if you can, then I've got to be up there for Deep Blue Sea too. I've logged that film 9 times on I watched that once a week for 9 consecutive weeks.
Because it's beautiful.
It is.
I hated it at first, now I love it. And then, we brought in...
Go back to those early episodes of the Deep Blue Sea podcast, and you're like, when Deep Blue Sea 2 comes up, you're like, oh, this film makes me angry. I hate it. And now you're like the biggest fan of it. Literally.
Yeah.
The biggest fan. You may be the biggest fan of Deep Blue Sea 2 in the world.
I love it so much. And if you go back on Deep Blue Sea, the podcast, you can listen to us cover all of them. So we did Deep Blue Sea in 30-some chapters. We did Deep Blue Sea 2 and 8.
We did, 33 chapters for Deep Blue Sea, plus a couple of bonus ones at the end. We did 10 for Deep Blue Sea 2 and 11 for Deep Blue Sea 3, plus 2 interviews, one with John Pogue and Tanya Ramond. And then a Deep Blue Sea character draft. And then we had done another episode on Deep Blue Sea as well. So in total, we've got like 60 episodes on these 3 films.
That's it? We're doing more. So we have more planned.
Yeah, sure.
And, so Jay, here's the deal. In case you haven't, listeners, if you haven't heard one of these before, basically what happens is an MFF All-Star comes on and just explains a franchise. So pretend that you're in an elevator with someone that's never seen it before. And no one's seen it before, and you have to condense it into a synopsis. That makes sense. So when they leave, they're not more confused.
So I need to condense 2.5 solid days worth of audio into 10 to 15 minutes. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited for this. I am. Because we've talked a lot. But see, you know what's interesting, Jay? We've stretched it out. We've never condensed it.
This is a new challenge. I also haven't watched any of these films since we covered them. So this is going to be fun.
But we've watched them so many times. It's going to be.
Yeah.
All right. So Jay, get going. I want to hear this.
Okay. The story starts in 1974. Peter Benchley releases the book Jaws. The next year, Spielberg makes a film of Jaws. Sometime later, in 1990, Michael Crichton makes Jurassic Park. Releases the book Jurassic Park. 3 years later, Spielberg again makes the film Jurassic Park. Sometime between 93 and 99, Duncan Kennedy is like reading Jurassic Park and watching Jaws at the same time, or vice versa, or he's just bought a VHS of Jurassic Park and put it next to Jaws in his case or something. And he thinks, I'm going to merge these 2 films together. I'm going to make Jaws Jurassic Park hybrid. With the specific idea that he wants to have sharks in interesting locations, like in a kitchen, in a bedroom. Things he hadn't seen sharks in these places before. Brings Rennie Harlan in, directs it. Deep Blue Sea is born. The greatest film ever made, perhaps. Who can say? So the story of Deep Blue Sea is there is an abandoned World War II submarine dock called why is these? I think they're falling out of my head already. Aquatica, called Aquatica. God damn, this is terrible. Right, and on this they have taken sharks and they're trying to cure Alzheimer's by making Mako sharks by testing on them. Secretly, Dr. Susan McAllister and Dr. Jim Whitlock, Saffron Burrows and Stellan Skarsgård, have increased the brain sizes of these 3 Mako sharks, like going against all kinds of laws and science terms they're not allowed to do. They haven't come up with any good results yet, so Sam Jackson, Russell Franklin, their wealthy benefactor, comes in for the weekend to oversee how things are going. There's a skeleton crew because the weekend there's a storm coming in, and so it's just down to like eight cast members, eight people on there. So you've got Russell Franklin, you've got Susan McAllister, you've got Jim Whitlock, you've got Carter Blake from Jane, You got his sidekick, Tom Scoggins, Michael Rappaport. You've got Janice Higgins, Jacqueline McKenzie, who is Stellan Skarsgård's assistant and also romantic partner. LL Cool J as Sherman Preacher Dudley, the chef. Ida Totoro as Brenda Kearns. She's Tower. She's up in the tower. They just call her Tower all the time. And as I said, Sam Jackson's there visiting as well. And LL Cool J has a parrot. They do the test. It goes well. It all works. Everything's great. Fantastic. But the shark that's not quite sedated wakes up. It was pretending this whole time and bites off Stellan Skarsgård's arm, Jim Whitlock's arm. They call in a chopper to help get him out. The shark, as they are winching the stretchered Whitlock up into the chopper, the winch breaks. Somehow the shark made the winch break. Don't worry about it. That's the only plot hole in this whole film, is the winch just kind of breaks. Don't worry about it. He falls in the water. Shark grabs him. If that winch hadn't broken, none of this whole thing would work. So sharks grab him, swim around a really long way. Go find an article on MFF that Mark wrote about how far they travelled underwater, and then pitches a still stretchered, still alive Stellan Skarsgård into the giant underwater window of Aquatica. Everyone just kind of stands watching it for a while. Prior to this, I forgot to say, the shark dragged the helicopter into the tower, so it's taken out Brenda, taken out the crew of the helicopter, which includes some really random people. There's a guy from Volcano, there's a guy who used to play the guitar for the Ramones on the helicopter, and they're all dead. So got no way of contacting anybody. Stellan Skarsgård has been pitched and cracks this giant window. Everyone else just about gets out, and they're like, oh my god, what do we do now? Meanwhile, LL Cool J Preacher's in the kitchen, and he feels this, everything starts to flow. Shark comes into the kitchen, and LL Cool J Preacher, actors and characters get merged. I don't care. He has to have a kitchen fight with a giant, super smart shark. He climbs, which eats his bird. How rude. So he climbs into the oven to try and escape, hacks his way out, the shark turns the gas on and tries to cook him in his own oven, because sharks can turn the gas on in an oven. He hacks his way out, throws his lighter. You ate my bird. Shark explodes. One shark down. Meanwhile, everyone else is just trying to get out. The place is getting flooded. They think there's a wet pool down below, down on the bottom. They go down there. Sharks have trashed it. The submarine is trashed. But everyone's panicking. Everyone's breaking down. Russell Franklin is like, you think water's fast, shoots the ice. It moves like it has a mind. He does this whole beautiful speech about how he survived his avalanche. Maybe he ate human flesh. Maybe he's a Wendigo. We don't know. He's doing this speech, and midway through, first we're going to seal off this pool. Shark comes out, bites him in half, dead. If you've seen a scene from Deep Blue Sea, you've seen Russell Franklin's death. It's glorious. It's beautiful. It's the best scene in all cinema.
Everyone knows it.
With some of the worst CGI. But if you pause it, it looks awful. So don't pause it. Just watch it and enjoy it. The orchestra, this choir starts singing as he's killed. And it was like, oh my god, we need to get out of this pool. So they open a door, they go up to a shaft. As they're going up, water flooding it. Janice falls, she gets eaten. Preacher manages to save them because the ladder breaks. They get out there. Tom Scoggins and Carter go and try and they go and do something underwater. I can't remember what. They have to like empty an area or something. They succeed. Scoggins puts his thumb up, and then another shark comes and eats him. The DVD chapter is called Thumb Up, Man Down, one of my favorite DVD chapter titles in all of DVDs. Meanwhile, Dr. Susan McAllister trying to find the research, otherwise all of this is useless. Death is always useless. And she goes into her room, her lab, to try and find it. Shark comes in there. She very justifiably strips down to her underwear and executes a shark. Rennie Harlin does these films, these things sometimes. And Preacher records an omelette recipe. Fine. The three of them then go to this room. It's Carter, Preacher, and Susan at this point. They have a room. It's like the pump valve room or something. They rig up some life jackets, send them off with fire extinguishers. They flood the place. They get out. There's only one shark left. They get to the surface. Preacher's taken by the shark. He's thrown around all over the place. They manage to get him out and save him, but he's injured. Susan, they have a plan to blow up the shark with a explosive and a harpoon and a battery. Susan needs to distract the shark, or it's going to kill Carter. So she cuts her hand, jumps in, plans to get back out again. Didn't bank on the ladder being destroyed, eaten by a shark with retractable teeth. Carter then he manages to wrangle the shark. Preacher shoots the harpoon with the explosive, gets Carter as well. Carter gets ripped off of the shark as he clings to a metal fence. And just before Preacher explodes it, and the two of them survive, just as the next two arrives. And then his hat is like a shark fin. Beautiful end credit song. Wonderful. I really want to watch this film again.
Gorgeous movie.
Too long. It's the best film. Deep Blue Sea 2. This came out straight to DVD. Oh, sometime between Deep Blue Sea and Deep Blue Sea 2, I saw Deep Blue Sea. Mark saw it in the cinema, because he worked in the cinema at the time. He saw it a million times. We met each other. We fell in love with this film with each other. Great. Deep Blue Sea 2, straight to DVD, straight to streaming, I think, 2018. This is a very similar plot to the first one, but there's now, like, baby sharks. So with Dr. Misty Calhoun is the hero of this one, Daniel Savre. She, along with a few other people, are brought to another underwater shark test place called Achilles, is the name of this one, where they're testing on sharks, and they have a shark who's like ill. Is Bella. It's bull sharks this time. What the plan here is Carl Durant, Michael Beach, the great Michael Beach, is terrified that robots are going to rise up and take over the world, so he's trying to make a serum that makes humans super smart. And to do this, he's working on bull sharks. It's a genius idea. What could possibly go wrong? Everything. So they get there. There's Trent Slater Trent, who's a ex-Navy SEAL shark wrangler. There's a few other people who it doesn't really matter. There's a lawyer in a terrible suit. There's another couple of scientists. All these people are going to die. There's Aaron Elroy, who's like their Scoggins. And wouldn't you know it? Well, it turns out the shark is pregnant. Bella the shark is pregnant, which Dr. Misty Calhoun noticed immediately. And whilst they're doing some testing on it, the shark gets dropped back into the water and spontaneously gives birth to a bunch of baby sharks. And they kill the lawyer in his terrible suit and his horrible tie. And the whole place is rocked because one of the other sharks pushes a boat into a generator up on the surface. And it just blows everything up. I'd forgotten about that. This is a beautiful film.
It's the tiniest set.
It's everyone scatters because like everything gets they all go out. There's one room with like 12 doors in it. So one goes out a different door. One guy gets his head bitten off as he's leaning over the pool. And this is all done in one set. They have one like L-shaped corridor set. They light it in a blue, a yellow, a green, and a red light to show us different locations. It's beautiful. It's how you work with no money.
Yeah.
This film had no budget. It's how you do it.
They did it. It looks great.
They did it. So the married couple, they get stranded either side of the door. The husband sees the wife get killed. One guy gets eaten in a shower. By a bunch of baby sharks. You can't escape the baby sharks. Like Aaron manages to escape by he gets on a floating mattress and they just kind of swim past him. It's odd. Carl Durant has some serum that if he drinks it, he can see the Matrix. And he does that, and it makes him see like blueprints that he doesn't have access to. He can just like see him in his brain. It's great. And so Durant, Trent Slater, Aaron Elroy, and the husband Daniel Kim, they get out. Well, Daniel Kim gets. Yes. Okay. Trent Slater, Dr. Misty Calhoun, and Carl Durant are about to go out the ladder, but Misty Calhoun like hangs back to see if there's more survivors. So Carl Durant knocks her out of the place so they can get out of the ladder. Because he's the bad guy in this film. So if you picked up on that, Carl Durant, Michael Beach, the bad guy in this film. So she's got an acetylene torch. She cuts a hole in a door, try and break through. Then Aaron and Daniel Kim arrive. They get through. She like stays back to try and fight a flock of baby sharks with an acetylene torch, which is not going to work. And so they all just swim past her and through the hole she's created. So she heads off to go and find diving gear in someone else's room. Trent Slater's welding room, I think it was. So Aaron climbs the ladder. Daniel's behind him. The water's flowing up the ladder. The baby sharks come up. They get to the top, and only half of Daniel is left. He is alive. They like pulling him out, and he just has no bottom half, and so they just drop him back in. I spent a long time working out. Did they like perforate him? How did this work? There's like 12 episodes on this somewhere on our feed. Go listen to those. Misty Calhoun finds this other gear. She gets out, gets to the top. There's a drone. Shark eats the drone. There's a boat, so they swim to the boat. They get to the boat. Aaron gets dragged down. Michael Beach is like confronted by a shark. He thinks everything is fine, but then the shark just rises up and eats him. Aaron reappears. Get on the boat. Misty and Trent use dual flare guns to take out a big shark, and they blow up. There's some kind of contingency plan to blow up Achilles. And which they do, but at the end we're shown some of the sharks maybe got out. Cut to Deep Blue Sea 3, but now 2 years later to 2020. Deep Blue Sea 3 is a new film, but it kind of it goes off of the second film, but it's a whole new plot. So we have the surviving bull sharks and Bella. She has passed away, sadly. We're now on Little Happy, is the name of this place, which is a conservation place near South Africa where they're looking after great white sharks. There's a reef. Trema Collins, Tanya Ramond, friend of Deep Sea the podcast, has been on the show. She's there with her crew trying to save these sharks. Then they find out some of the great white sharks have been killed. Like there's 2 great white sharks with like massive bites taken out of them by these like giant super smart bull sharks. Meanwhile, Lucas and Dr. Richard Lowell show up. Richard is Emma's ex. They have history together. Also, we have Emma's dead dad's best friend, Eugene Shaw, is there. And a few other people. There's Spin, there's Maya. There's a couple of locals that live in there. It's like a real like ramshackle makeshift town. It's like floating. It's quite cool. So a big boat arrives. Bad guys. They're tracking the bull sharks. They don't care about Little Happy all that much. They don't care about anything other than just doing their job.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where things get a bit blurry. It's been a while since I've thought about Deep Sea 3. And Deep Sea 2 is just like iconically, it's not terrible. It's unique.
People get swallowed whole. Sharks are held captive.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, one of the locals gets killed. They find his hand. Richie decides, these guys I'm with are bad. I should be with the good guys. And to do that, he like jumps. He does a swan dive off of a boat and gets eaten by a shark on the way down. It's beautiful. I had to pause the film and walk around my room to calm down after I saw it. Lucas and his guys kidnap a shark and hold it hostage. They point a gun at a shark's head, and 2 other sharks like understand the situation and back away.
Hey man, you got us.
It's cool. You got it. We'll try again. No, it's fine. Don't do anything drastic, man. Don't put the gun away. There's a plan to blow up Little Happy with a bomb that Emma goes and diffuses and plants it on the boat. So when they blow up the bomb, they blow up the boat. Shaw takes out 2 sharks simultaneously. Prior to that, he's fighting with a goon. There's a shark that's jumping up and going to get him, and he manages to roll on his back and lift the goon up, and the shark takes the goon's head off. There's a half a guy on a little underwater jet ski kind of skidoo kind of thing, just along, just half a guy. Emma does the first human on human kill in the franchise. She kills Lucas with a knife. There's spin kicks, there's explosions, just this flying leap. And then eventually it's just Emma versus a shark, and she lures it into a trash compactor, and the shark gets compacted while she's in there as well, and it gets skinned, and its eyes bulge out, and it implodes in the water. And then she gets out with the Nandi is her local friend, and Maya. They find in a cupboard floating in the water, and they survive. And John Poe, the director, came on Deep Sea the podcast and said, Deep Sea 4 is going to come out 2022 summer. He lied to us. It never did. We still hold out hope, but John Poe is a liar. That's the Deep Sea franchise.
Oh man, while you were doing that, I just had great memories of Tanya Raymond in the air, about 14 feet in the air, doing a flip. I had, you saying Dr. Misty down. Calhoun and Trent Slater. Like, you can't just say Trent or Misty. You have to say Dr. Misty Calhoun, and you have to say Trent Slater, or Slater Trent.
I didn't mention her poorly fitting wetsuit. The zip just won't go up any further. It's just kind of stuck.
The costuming is so weird on that. But we got Limitless Juice in there. We got the Skogs. We got Spin Kicks. I think everyone knows exactly what happened in the Deep Blue Sea franchise.
Everyone, if you haven't seen these films, and not many people have seen 2 and 3, you absolutely should. They are great. 3 is legitimately a good film. 2 is very enjoyable. If you don't like it, watch it again a week later, and then again, and again, and again, and eventually you will like it.
Oh man, this is, yeah, you will eventually like it. That's what happened to me. I didn't like it, and then I loved it, and now I love it more.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Do you think Deep Blue Sea 2 is kind of a prequel to Terminator?
It definitely could be. With the Limitless Juice, yeah, that's maybe someone took that and then designed the Terminator. Michael Beach is Miles Dyson.
Oh. And you have sharks watching through windows, just sitting at windows staring at people while they're taking Limitless Juice.
I forgot about that. So I was just watching, just hanging out.
And there's a shot right at it. And there was a water shortage in South Africa during the second one when they were shooting, so. I wonder, it's all right. That was awesome, Jay. Thank you for joining me, man. This was great.
It's just fun reliving these memories of these films.
I had the biggest smile on my face.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's like watching the movie, but faster.
That's the longest I've gone without having a drink on a podcast.
Well, hey, man, thank you so much for joining me.
Happy to do so.
All right, so for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Jay Cluitt, this is Movies, Films, and Flicks. We'll see you next week.